Welcome back, guys. This is your boy Cars back with another video, and today I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a couple of years now, and I've been wanting to make a video on it for a couple of years now. And I would like for you guys to let me know in the comments what you guys think about in terms of the title and stuff, and make a discussion on that. But otherwise, if you haven't read the title, this video is basically me explaining why Fortnite yearly chapters don't work. And for me, I got only really very simple reasons as to why these yearly chapters don't work, and I don't think they are good for the longevity of the game, and they should switch it up every now and then on how long the chapters are. Now, before I get into it, I just want to have one quick disclaimer. This is me talking from the top of my head. This is no script, nothing going on. So bear with me when it comes to my grammar, all of that stuff. Just bear with me. It's going to be quite a bit of a long video, so bear with me. One of my reasons is that we only get 4 seasons within each chapter of these yearly chapters, right? So that means 4 different themes to work with within each chapter. And in my opinion, 4 different themes isn't that much themes really to go on within each chapter, in my opinion. It should be at least 6 themes, maybe 7 themes, as long as it's not just, a very low number, which is 4 themes in my opinion. And the fact that most of the time, season 1 isn't even theme based. There's not like a certain thing going on for season 1 most of the time. So that only leaves with 3 different themes practically. And so that isn't really that much to go with within, one singular chapter, in my opinion. And another thing is the map evolution and map changes throughout the chapter and the map in general. An argument I have is that we don't get to spend as long as I'd like, in my opinion, and on the map for the chapter. Is only 1 year, so we only get to spend so much time on the map to move on to the next chapter with a new map and all that kind of stuff. So that is one thing. And another thing is that we're getting map changes too quickly and too frequently, that it doesn't feel very natural when we get this new biome, completely new biome change, or completely drastic change throughout the seasons. With chapter 4 and 5 specifically, we gotten a new biome every season, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of map changes going on. There's nothing wrong with map changes, in my opinion. I really recommend for Epic to bring map changes, and I really encourage that. But the problem here is we're getting those too quickly and too frequently. And it comes to a point where I want to have a natural progression, in terms of enjoying certain POI for a little bit until we get to the next big thing, which is a different biome or a completely new POI on that certain thing, and then spend some time with that POI and then going for the next big thing. If you know what I'm saying. When you compare chapter 5 specifically to chapter 1, there's a lot of things going on, because we didn't get the desert biome until season 5 in chapter 1. And when you think about that, that was the first massive change we got throughout chapter 1. Before that, we got new POIs, right, in season 2, and then in season 4 we got obviously Dusty Divot, but that was about it in terms of map changes. So it was kind of natural going to or leading up to the desert biome. And then the next huge biome we got was the snow biome, which we didn't get until season 7. And we got the jungle biome until season 8. So it was in season after that replaced the top half of the map, and then we got the futuristic-esque, not biomes, but futuristic POIs through season 9. And then season X went crazy because, season X is season X, and season X does season X things. So that was it for chapter 1, right? But my point here is we got to spend time on the OG POIs, right? We got to spend time with Wailing Woods for 6 seasons or 7 seasons, which is crazy. And then we got to spend time with all the other POIs for quite a bit until they got replaced for another POI or a completely different biome or such. But chapter 5, most of the POIs that were seen in season 1 were completely gone by the time season 4 went around, especially when Fortnite came around, right? Because Freaker Fields replaced Reckless Railways, and that was one of the last original POIs there on the map. So what I'm saying here is just have a natural progression. Like with longer chapters, we get to have more natural progression when it comes to that. Obviously, chapter 2 is one of the mistakes when it came to map changes. Obviously we only got a map change within certain seasons, and those map changes wouldn't stay, and they were only contained within the middle of the map, and that's about it. But chapter 2 is chapter 2. That's a whole different thing completely. But with chapter 3, 4, and 5, there's a similar thing going on. A lot of things change within a season, and then those things go away for a lot of other things that change throughout the next season, and things keep going on until the map gets abandoned or gets exploded, whatever, and going to the next chapter. So that's what I'm really going at with when it comes to that map evolution. I want things to be a little bit more natural, a little bit more slower, so we get to enjoy for the map itself for what it is and the POIs until we get to the next big thing, until the next big thing, until the next big thing, which are kind of staggered upon not one another, but a little bit more stretched out so that we can enjoy certain POIs and certain map changes and so on and so forth. Another reason I have is the story doesn't get to be flushed out, and a lot of the time does get rushed. Obviously with chapter 3 is a different kind of story because chapter 3 had to get rushed. It was meant to have longer or more seasons, and that all got cut in just having a yearly chapter and having to end quicker. So that was different. But for chapter 4 and 5, right, obviously Donald Mustard left during mid chapter 3, so the story had to get pushed back and kind of slow down during chapter 4. So I'll cut some chapter 4 some slack. Chapter 5. Now, here's the thing, right? Chapter 5 could have been dealt better in terms of the story aspect. There's a lot of good lore going on and stuff like that. But my main problem with that story that was in chapter 5, went through chapter 5, is that we didn't get proper events. We only got mini events that we're carrying on throughout the seasons. And even though the mini events were pretty good and had a lot of things going on with the lore, it did have a lot of players confused and just not being caught up on what is going on, because the fact that these are mini events and that you only can see them within a certain time, which can be I think one of the events were 2 o'clock in the middle of the weekday, in the middle of the week, right, not even in the weekend or whatever, and stuff like that. So it just happens randomly, and they're not within a separate playlist, so you have to go into a public match in order to see said event, unless you're a content creator, which most people aren't, that that are big enough to make private matches and stuff. It's not everybody can do that. A lot of the players can't, including me. So a lot of the time you have to be on Twitter or follow a content creator to see these events and know what's going on with these events and get, extra insight on what's going on. And a lot of I don't think that is a good thing in general. And even not including that, let's just not even talk about that. Let's just get that out of the way and just talk about how the lore went. How it started was really strong, but how it ended was pretty bad. And what I mean by that is we had all this build up in terms of, protecting the island, fighting Doom and all this stuff throughout season 4, right? But the mini event itself we had with Doom, what was that? This Doom guy, right? This Dr. Doom had so many feats off screen, fighting or beating practically everybody from the Marvel universe in the island, and all these people at all these crazy feats off screen, to us just beating him so easily within only a couple of hours or so. And I'm just here like, what was that for? What the heck was that for? And we'd even get extra lore going into the next event, which was the only main event we got throughout the whole chapter, leading into chapter 2 remakes. So it's just like a lot of things get rushed to go to the next thing when it comes to yearly chapters. You see now with chapter 3, chapter 4, nothing was going on, so I would exclude that. But that's my point. With chapter 1, we had a whole cohesive story going on throughout the chapter, starting with season 4. That's when the story began, or during season 3, I guess, but season 4 is when it really began. And we had it had time to progress and to explain itself, and for people to be excited for the next event, and for people to be excited for what's gonna happen next. We don't really get that with chapter 5. Same with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is when the story kind of peaked, because all the events were amazing and all the lore that was going on behind the scenes were really crazy. It was actually interesting and people were excited, except even me. I'm always excited for a Fortnite lore, or like a story that's brewing, and all these events to explain themselves and for them to be amazing and all. I'm always excited for that. So whenever yearly chapters happen, I'm just not, I just don't like it, because we don't get to enjoy one of the best aspects of this game, in my opinion, which is the story, because a lot of the time it gets rushed and stuff. So that's another reason. And if you haven't realized, all of these reasons that I'm bringing up leads to one thing, one main big reason, and that reason is we don't have time. There's not enough time on these chapters. We only get 4 seasons. The map, a lot of the time, doesn't feel natural in terms of the progression, because a lot of things change within each season, as well as the story feeling rushed. You just don't have time to flush these out. Just don't have time. And now you may be asking, what do I want from the next upcoming chapters? And my answer to that is simple. Just have longer chapters that can actually, feel normal as to what chapter 1 and 2 did. Chapter 3 didn't feel normal because it felt rushed out. Chapter 4 felt the same way. Chapter 5 felt the same way. And a lot of that has to do with these being yearly chapters. So having longer chapters will make things feel a lot more normal. With the map itself, with the story, with whatever is going on with the chapter will feel more normal because you would have more seasons to go about within the chapter. You have more seasons to go with. Now, I'm not asking Epic to bring back 2-year-long chapters or to only do that throughout the rest of the chapters. No. All I'm asking is to have longer chapters. It could be a year and a half long. It could be a year and a 7.5 or 7.5 year long chapter or whatever. I don't care, bro. The chapter could have 6 seasons, 7 seasons, 8 seasons, 9 seasons, 10 seasons, whatever you name it. Doesn't matter as long as it has more seasons and just longer in general to justify being a whole chapter. Because a lot of the time these yearly long chapters don't feel like a full a full chapter experience, in my opinion. And so I want to get back to that with the future chapters. Now, I think that chapter 6 isn't gonna be that, and it's gonna still be a yearly chapter as to what they're going with right now. But with chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9, come on, we need those longer chapters to come back. But what do you guys think? I think this is a really good discussion for y'all to speak in the comments of what y'all think, which y'all rather have. Obviously you heard what I have to say when it comes to this, so I like to hear y'all in the comments. And otherwise, have a good day, guys, and I'll see you next time.